Okay, good evening, all of you. This is day 9, and today we are again coming up here with a new topic, which is again very important regarding the practical learning of the IoT and embedded system. Okay, so we in the last class we were discussing about different special, uh, I mean, concepts where which was really very important, and you can consider that this one is also one of them, which is very important. Okay, so maybe from the next class completely practical classes will start. Okay, and this is one of the important topic which you will find there, and you will see that it is getting implemented. Okay, so you might have heard about, I'm not say heard about, but you are quite familiar with something that is called smartphone. Yes or no? And in every smartphone, you might be knowing that there is something that is called Bluetooth. Yes or no? So you might have seen many people nowadays are using earphone bands and all, which are connected through Bluetooth through your smartphone. Okay, so this Bluetooth based that band which we are having. So can you tell me, or can you just guess and tell me that how this communication takes place? I mean, from your smartphone, suppose the music is there in your smartphone and you want to listen to this through this headset, which is Bluetooth, which is connected wirelessly through Bluetooth. Then you will observe that you are just connecting, and then once connection is done, you are able to hear the music. But this wireless communication which is going on here, then what actually is happening there? How data is passing from your smartphone to the Bluetooth, from Bluetooth to your smartphone? How it is going on there? Okay, there might be something, yes or no? So, in any idea, do you have any idea that how this communication is really working? You can write yes in the chat box, or if you don't know, you can write no in the chat box. So my question is that how this communication takes place. Okay, so you are aware of a little bit. Okay, fine. So this basically is because of this special protocol, which is also referred as serial communication part. Okay, yeah, it is present everywhere. I mean, I'm not talking about only smartphone. Okay, nowadays you will observe that in your home, nowadays inside the home, we don't say home, we are now started saying as smart home. Smart home means many devices will be connected with your smartphone. Okay, and you can control them. So the thing which we have to understand is that from smartphone, if you are trying to connect to the nearby devices, you will observe that generally Bluetooth is used. Okay, or generally Wi-Fi is used. Then what actually is happening there? How the communication is going on? Okay, so basically in the Bluetooth part, the communication is always referred as serial communication. So we'll try to understand what do you mean by serial communication, and what is that protocol which is present and which is actually working underline under this complete system, and what are its application. Okay, so I hope the basic idea of today's class is clear to you, clear to everyone, that we are going to understand what is the meaning of serial communication protocol, and what is that actual protocol. We'll try to understand, okay, how it is implemented. We'll see that also, and then we'll also see where are the applications of this. Okay, one example already I told you, it is heavily used in smart home. Okay, nowadays you might have heard about that we have smart AC, we have smart fan, smart bulb, everything is becoming smarter these days. Okay, so by saying smarter, it means it can be controlled from more than one places. Okay, nowadays it has also become very accessible that your light, your fan, and all things can be controlled from outside world. Okay, which actually means IoT. Okay, clear? So we'll see where this serial communication protocol lie and what are its application. Okay, so I hope the agenda of today's class is clear to everyone. And now let's proceed forward and let's try to understand what really is meant by serial communication protocol. So if you look carefully, as the definition part, the serial communication protocol is basically a communication system using which data is sent bit by bit through the dedicated channel. Okay, so what is serial communication protocol? Basically, it is basically set of rules. Okay, protocol basically means set of rules using which the data is transmitted through a dedicated channel bit by bit. Okay, means what I'm trying to say is that suppose we have 10 bit of data, then this 10 bit of data will be transferred bit by bit from source to destination. Okay, means there will be only one pipe kind of thing, and suppose there are 10 bits, then one by one the bit will pass on through this channel and it will reach the destination. Okay, so that is all basically meant by the serial communication protocol. So we'll see that how really this protocol works. And let's first of all, let's see in the Arduino board. You all are now familiar with Arduino board. Let's see where is that channel through which this communication actually happens. So I've just come up with a small uh, diagram which is trying to make you understand. So suppose this is your Arduino board. So first and second two Arduino boards are shown here, and if you can see properly, there are two pins present here, which is marked as TX and RX. Can you see, guys? If you can see, that's very good. It's written here TX and it's written there RX. Okay. If you observe carefully, you will be able to see. If you are not able to see, don't worry. In the coming slides, there is one more slide where it has been shown very clearly. Okay. So this is called TX and this is called RX. Okay. So if you observe one thing, which I would like to make you understand here itself, that is the data coming from TX. I mean, TX is coming here and it is going to RX. Can you observe that? TX is going to RX. Now from here, this TX is going to RX. Means what basically it is trying to say is that if suppose there are two person, and if one person is speaking, so if one person is speaking, then he is basically transmitting. Then in that case, what the other person should do? Tell me, guys, if one person is transmitting, then what the other person should do? That other person should do what? That other person should receive it. Yes or no? Means if I am saying you something, then what you are doing actually? You are actually receiving. Okay. So if suppose person number one is transmitting, then person number two has to receive. Okay. And if suppose person number two is transmitting, then what person number one has to do? It has to receive. Okay. That is the basic funda of communication. Okay. So if you, what I'm trying to show you in that diagram is that there are two pins in the Arduino board, that is first and second pin. And the first one is referred as RX. RX means receiver, TX means transmitter. Okay. So every Arduino board you will find that there are two pins referred as RX and TX. RX stands for receiver, TX stands for transmitter. Okay. So if you connect the wire in the format as I've shown here, if you look here, the wiring has been shown here. That is from RX data is going to TX, and from here TX the data is going to RX. Okay. So what will happen? From the transmitter it will go to the receiver, and always that will happen the same way. Okay. So here what I'm trying to show you is that this Arduino board 1 and 2 is actually communicating among themselves. Okay. And you should not be surprised. I'm trying to say you is that this Arduino board 1 can be complete one embedded system. Okay. It can be complete one embedded system. And if suppose one embedded system wants to communicate with second embedded system, then through this RX communication, RX TX communication, it can do it very easily. Okay. So you can say this receiver transmitter, which is connected here in the serial communication format, they are very heavily used in the embedded system market, where they are always used to communicate from one device to other device. Okay. So that the transmission can be successfully done. Okay. So now what we'll do, we'll try to understand that if we have to do this kind of this kind of setting and all, then what are those important things which we should know? Okay, so let's try to understand that first. So if you talk about serial communication, this serial communication is basically categorized into two types. Okay, so one is referred as synchronous serial communication and other is referred as asynchronous serial communication. Okay, so from the name only you can understand synchronous means it will always be connected through a clock. Okay, and there will be some kind of synchronization between the data transmitted, data received, and each and everything. Okay, means there will be a clock which will be taking care of everything and it will set the timing and all, and based on that only the communication will continue. Okay, so if that is that thing, that kind of thing, if you see, then you can consider that as synchronous serial communication. I hope this term synchronous uh, is not a difficult term, and I hope you have understood what I'm trying to deliver here. Okay, so this synchronous means it will be always connected with the clock, and all the data which is transmitted from receiver to transmitter or transmitter to receiver, it will be always in a timing format, and it will be predefined that okay, after this bit this has to be sent and all those things. A predefined kind of schedule will be going on here. Whereas in the case of second type, which is called as asynchronous clock, or you can say there are only their own clocks, okay, which are used for some other purpose, not for scheduling and all. It's not for that purpose, but it is basically used for triggering purpose. Okay, means if suppose I want to set like this, and suppose once I receive all the data, then only such and such things should occur. Okay, now in that case the data can be received in 1 hour also, the data can be received in 2 hours also, it can be received in 1 month also, we don't know. Okay, so what will happen once the complete data is received, then the trigger will occur and some kind of job will be performed. Okay, so in this case there is no timing kind of thing is there, and that's why it is referred as asynchronous. Okay, so I hope you all have understood the difference between two types of serial communication. One is called synchronous serial communication and other is referred as asynchronous serial communication. Okay, so if anyone has any doubt, if you have not understood these two terms, synchronous and asynchronous, and write in the chat box, because this is going to play a very important platform on which you are going to understand all the concepts. So I hope this the word synchronous and asynchronous is clear to you, all of you. Just write yes in the chat box if you have understood. Yeah, okay. Now let's proceed forward. So this synchronous and asynchronous all comes under a protocol. Okay, so this serial communication is basically what? It's a technology. Okay, and in order to implement this technology, a protocol was implemented, and this is a very important protocol also referred as USART. You can see the full form as well. So USART stands for Universal Asynchronous Synchronous Receiver and Transmitter. Okay, so or you can say if you just talk about full form, then it's better Universal Synchronous Asynchronous Receiver and Transmitter. That's the correct full form. Okay, so USART stands for Universal Synchronous Asynchronous Receiver and Transmitter. Okay, so don't get confused, guys. The full form is as I have told you. Okay, I have just made a cross to make you clear. Okay, now this protocol, we don't have to go in deep and try to understand the complete protocol and all, but we have to understand what actually is going on in this protocol. Okay, now if you look carefully, the full form says that there can be the synchronous data transmission also, there can be asynchronous data transmission also, and both receiver and transmitter should be present. Okay, so this protocol is basically a very general kind of protocol where it takes care of not only synchronous based data, but also it takes care of asynchronous based data. Okay, and it helps in its communication. Now the point is what actually we have to understand here. So there are some important things which I would like to focus here. That is these 4 points. If you look carefully, okay. So we have to understand what do you mean by synchronization bits, data bits, parity bits, and baud rate. Okay. So these are 4 terms which are very important. Okay. When you're writing the program, you may not feel about these important terms, but I am saying when you are doing it, some practical you are doing and you are doing it yourself, these 4 things you have to keep in mind. Otherwise, the problem will be that you won't be able to grab the information, or you cannot be able to get the information, or I mean the fruitful data will be lost. Those things may happen. Okay, so we'll see. We'll try to understand what is the meaning of synchronization bit, data bit, parity bit, and especially the baud rate. Okay, so let's try to understand these all 4 technical terms here with respect to serial communication one by one. Okay, so I'm not going to write some definition and all and to make you understand by the definition. The what I feel is that the picture tells everything. Based on that, I would like to teach you. Okay, so synchronization bits. So synchronization bits means what? Means these are some bits which is creating some kind of synchronization. Yes or no? So synchronization bits are those bits which are actually used for synchronizing each and everything. Okay, so let's suppose that from source to destination, so suppose there are packet 1 and packet 2 which I have to transmit to the destination. Okay, now suppose if packet 1 has started. Okay, now you all know that whenever we are sending any information, we'll put it on the on what? We'll put it on a pipeline. Okay, so suppose I'm passing the packet 1 here. Okay, now the point is that when I'm passing the packet 1, we don't know when the packet 1 has received by the destination. Okay, so we should have some kind of special bits in this packet itself, and we'll try to understand that what these bits will do. Okay, so synchronization bits are basically the start and the stop bits. Okay, so synchronization bits are what? They are special bits which are actually the start and stop bits of any packet. Okay, so suppose if you're making a packet, then when the packet is created, you will observe that the first bit is your start bit, okay, and the last bit is your stop bit. Okay, maybe you may find there are 2 stop bits. Maybe that is possible. That's not that it may not be possible, but it is possible. Okay, so we have start bit, we have stop bit, and if you observe carefully, once you have received the stop bit, it gives a synchronization message that next packet may come. Yes or no? So synchronization bits are actually those bits which tells you when the packet transmission has started, and it will also tell when the packet transmission has been completed. Okay, so that is actually happening by start bit and stop bit. So I hope it's clear to everyone that what do you mean by synchronization bit. So I'll just repeat, give a recap kind of. Synchronization bits are those bits which are actually creating a synchronization environment whenever the communication takes place, and that is done by setting start bit and stop bits at the starting and end of the packet. Okay, so I hope this synchronization bits are clear to everyone. Okay, so you can write a yes in the chat box so that we can proceed forward. Okay, now moving to the next part, that is called data bits. Now, what do you mean by data bits? And there's no formal definition I would like to tell you here, but one thing I would like to say is that bits is actually the data we are actually transmitting. You know that from the transmitter we are sending something to the receiver. So what actually we are transmitting? So what we are transmitting, that is called as data. Yes or no? So from transmitter to receiver, whatever we are transmitting, that is called as data, and that's why our heading is data bits. Okay, so generally in this USART protocol communication, we are trying to send data packets whose size vary from 5 to 9 bits. Okay, means when we are creating any packet, then in that packet the size of the data which we are putting, the actual data, means the data which has to be processed, which has to be given to someone. Okay, so that data size in every packet, it can be maximum of 9 bits and minimum it can be of 5 bits. Okay, so but generally the standard size is kept as 8 bit. Okay, so I hope now it's clear to everyone. So whenever any kind of UART protocol is implemented anywhere, you will observe synchronization bits which will be present at the starting and at the end. And along with that, you will also observe that there is a standard size which we have to follow. Okay, and that is referred as 8-bit standard size. Okay, so generally the data bits are of 8-bit standard size. Okay, so I hope this part is clear to all of you what is meant by data bit and how data is gathered. Okay. Now moving to the next part, that's called parity bit. So if you remember, while I was explaining you the diagram, I have shown you that is this diagram. Look at this diagram, guys. So can you see it's written here P? Can you see it's written here from here to here? It's written D. So these are actually data bits, and this P represents parity bit. Okay, and these two represents the synchronization bits. Okay, so I'll repeat once more. The starting and the ending are referred as synchronization bits. D0 to Dn, and n generally is equal to 8 maximum. Okay, then not 8, it's 7, because starting from 0, total number of bits should be 8. Okay, so total 8 bits are there, and that is referred as data bits. Okay, and the rest, there is one more special bit that is referred as parity bit. Okay, so parity bits are having a special job which we will be seeing just now. Rest bits, I hope it's clear to all of you. So now let's proceed forward and let's try to understand what is meant by parity bits. So parity bits are actually a very special bit which is used for error checking purpose. Means you all know that whenever I am sending, or whenever transmitter is transmitting some data to the receiver, there are some chances where data from the transmitter when it is going to receiver is lost. Okay, or suppose 1 or 2 bits is lost. Now in that case, how we will come to know that whatever has been transmitted from the transmitter is correct or not? Okay, so if it is not correct, then in that case we cannot accept that data. Means what I'm trying to show you is that suppose this is your data bits from D0 to D7, then this data can be considered only if the parity bit is giving some response. Okay, because this parity bit is actually working on these 8 bit of information, and it is generating some result. Okay, and based on that we can check whether whatever data is present from D0 to D7 is correct or not. Okay, so basically these parity bits are those bits which are used to check whether the data which has been received is correct or not. Okay, so if suppose if data is not correct, then there will be some issues and we can discard the packet. Okay, so that is the importance of parity bit. And generally this parity bit is of two types. One is called odd parity, another is called even parity. Okay, so in the case of odd parity, you can see what actually we are doing is we are counting the number of zeros. Okay, if the number of zeros are odd, then that is called odd parity. If the number of zeros are 1, and that is referred as even parity. Okay, so based on this, it is checked whether the data which is sent to the destination is correct or not. Okay, so that is the job of parity bits. Next, the important term which you have to understand, and this is really very important, and if you are not getting, I am really ready again to explain. Okay, so listen very carefully, guys. So this baud rate is basically what? It is used to denote the number of bits transferred per second. Okay, in this short you can say BPS. Okay, so baud rate is basically what? It's a rate using which the number of bits transferred per second can be found out and can give a suitable answer whether still you can run you can use that. Okay, so basically now what is the importance of baud rate? So baud rate, why it is important? Because suppose there is one person, and suppose this person is communicating with the another person, let's suppose 1 and 2. Now this first person has to talk in such a way that person number 2 should able to hear and understand. Yes or no? It's not that you are just saying something and anyone else can understand. Okay, you have to maintain. So this baud rate is basically what? It's you can say it's a technique using which number of bits transferred per second can be controlled. Okay, and when this is controlled, I'm sure the data transmission will also be perfect. Okay, so baud rate is basically what? It is basically a you can say a speedometer kind of thing, which keeps on calculating the speed at which the data is transmitted from the source to the destination. Okay, so I hope this baud rate is concept is clear to all of you. Now this baud rate is basically very important. This baud rate basically says that when you are passing the information. So if you remember in the starting, I told you about smartphone. Now this smartphone can be connected with your Bluetooth based speaker. Then what is going on? This smartphone is basically your transmitter, and this Bluetooth is your receiver. Now in this case, what is actually happening? A specific BPS is maintained here, means bits per second. Bits per second, which will be transferred from the smartphone to the this earphone, is actually BPS, and it will be surely defined somewhere. Otherwise, it will become difficult for the user to go for a very smooth communication. Okay, so I hope this baud rate term is very important, and I hope you have understood, which tells that it maintains the number of bits per second. Okay, so in order to, I hope till here it's clear to all of you. You have understood baud rate and you have understood each and every term which I have explained you. Now if you have to implement this, how we will implement? Okay, and what kind of output will be visible to us? Okay, so those things we have to understand. So now if I just move to the next slide, and you can see here written a small code. Okay, I'll try to make you understand what this code really says. Okay, so here this is my void setup, and this is my void loop, and you can see in void loop I have not written anything. So basically what will happen, this complete program which you are seeing here, it is going to run only once. Yes or no? Why? Because inside the loop there is nothing. Okay, technically speaking it will run infinite time, but if I say practically speaking, only setup part will be executed once, and the loop part will keep on rotating without doing anything. Okay, now if you look at the setup part, in this one function is written here that says serial dot begin 9600. Can you see that? Serial dot begin 9600. So it means actually we have to understand what this function does. So serial dot begin means you are starting the, or you can say you are activating the serial communication. Okay, I will repeat once more. Serial dot begin function, what it does, it actually starts the serial communication. Okay, so means between receiver and transmitter, the communication can only start when the serial dot begin function has been executed. Okay, now what is this 9600? So this 9600 is basically a standard value of bits per second. Okay, so this 9600 is actually the standard value. So the Bluetooth speakers which you are using, that also follows the same thing. Okay, so 9600 is basically you can say a value which helps to set that how many bits per second will be transmitted from receiver to transmitter. Okay, so once this serial dot begin function is executed, what actually will happen is that the serial communication portal will open up, and you will observe that if you try to print serial dot println, and you'll observe that whatever messages is written here, that all will be printed. Okay, so this serial dot begin, basically what it does, it starts the communication, okay, and serial dot print, what it does, you can say it starts printing on the screen, okay, or either on the screen or whatever is mentioned there, okay. It's not necessary that always I mean this will be present directly, okay. So what I'm trying to say is that there are these two lines of code is very important. Better I'll just number it and I'll show you. So this line number one will be doing what? It will be activating this RX channel, okay. And line number two, it will be transmitting the information. So we are passing here hello world. So what will happen? This hello world will pass through this and will come out, okay, and it will be rectified, okay. So it's a very simple program. So when you try to execute this program, what will happen? Your serial begin will help you to start the channel, and serial.println will help you to print the message, okay. So I hope this is a very simple code and I hope you have understood, okay. So here basically what happens when we are writing serial.begin here, actually USART protocol executes itself, okay. So if you, so what will happen, this is when we call this serial.begin function, USART protocol actually executes, okay. And when this executes, what actually happens, you can pass on any kind of message, okay. So this serial.println, what it does, it takes the message hello world and it prints on the channel which has been just created, okay. So I hope this is clear to everyone. If anyone is having any doubt in this, you can ask. Just waiting for a minute. If anyone is having any doubt in this program that you have not understood any line, you can write yes and no in the chat box so that I can repeat once more. But if you have understood, then we can proceed forward. Just write in the chat box, guys, if you have understood. So I hope this program is clear. Okay, I hope this program is clear to all of you. Okay, guys, thank you. Okay, now let's proceed forward and let's try to see the next program, which may be looking a little bit complex, but let me tell you, it's not that complex. It's very simple. Just listen very carefully. Okay. So again, now you can see here we are in the void setup. We have only one line. Now in void loop, some kind of code is written there. Okay, and let's see what actually is written there. Okay. So again, I told you in the last code serial.begin. So serial.begin is basically what? It activates the serial communication channel. Okay, means once serial.begin and this 960 is also referred as baud rate. Okay, guys. So you can just write down this 9600 is also referred as baud rate, bits per second rate. Okay, so serial.begin at 9600. Once that command is executed, this channel will be activated, okay, and through this channel only all the communication will take place, okay. Now in this void loop, we have called actually one function that is called serial.available. Now what this serial.available does, it actually checks that at serial port is the data actually present there, is it available there. If it is available, then something can be done. If it is not available, then nothing can be done. Okay. So this serial.available checks whether in this communication channel, whether any data is available or not. Okay. If it is available, then in that way we will perform. If it is not available, then in other way we will perform. So you can see it is basically if condition. If the condition becomes false, then we actually going to reiterate the loop part. Okay, and if the serial.available is becomes true, then we'll go inside and we'll see the two commands which is getting executed here. Okay, so if serial.available gives me true, it means that there is some data present in the communication channel. Okay, and if it is true, then what we'll do, we can pass on some messages as per requirement, and you can see we are actually trying to do what? Serial.read. So it means what? Whatever data was present in the pipe, that all will be cleaned up and it will be sent to the destination part. Okay, so serial dot print will print I received, and then we have written here serial dot read. So this serial dot read, what it will do, it will read the data from this pipe, okay, or this communication channel. Okay, so that data will come out, and that data can be written somewhere as per the requirement. Okay, so serial dot write is actually used for writing some information. Serial dot read is for reading the information. Okay, so you give a brief, keen look here and try to again look carefully on the internet and try to understand what is the difference between serial read and serial write. Okay, a very simple thing which you should know. Okay, if you are still not aware of, you can go through and try to understand. Okay, so serial write will be printing it somewhere on the maybe either on the plate or hand or whatever. Okay, so that is meant by serial write. Okay, now let's come to the application part. So if you look carefully here, what I'm trying to show you is some devices which are very important. Okay, in the context of serial communication. Now, as you know that nowadays, just now I also repeated that nowadays maximum devices at your home or anywhere, you will observe that they are connected by some way. Okay, so once they are connected by some way, what benefit we are getting? We can go for any kind of data transmission. Okay, so this serial communication is basically possible only in this format, as I'll try to make you understand. So suppose if I have let's suppose IR sensor. Let's suppose I have IR sensor, and this IR sensor is trying to sense the environment and transmit the information. Okay, now once this data has to be transmitted, it will be transmitted directly to the Bluetooth module. So this is your Bluetooth module, guys. If you don't know, look carefully. You can write down somewhere. This is your Bluetooth module. Now this module, you can understand how important it is. If you look carefully and you try to see, can you see this TX and RX pin here also? Okay, so this Bluetooth module will be directly connected with the Arduino board, and now through this Arduino board, data transmission will take place with the help of UART protocol. Okay, clear? So now where to use? So this can be used in smart home, it can be used in smart office, it can be used anywhere you say smart. Okay, so if anything is smart, it means it is actually having different sets of sensors. Okay, and they all will be sending the information to the microcontroller through this Bluetooth device. Okay, we also have one more device that is referred as ESP01. This also has the same thing, that is, it is able to transmit and also to receive regularly. Okay, so this ESP01 and this Bluetooth module, these two modules are getting connected with the Arduino board, and if any device wants to communicate wirelessly, it can communicate with with this device, and it can transmit the information to the motors, to the actuators, or it can receive the information from the sensors. Okay, so in this way you can connect many devices here and there, and you can go for many different kinds of applications. Okay, or if you look carefully and you just try to focus and try to understand, you'll observe that maximum devices which are connected through Bluetooth or Wi-Fi and all, they all can be connected with each other, and this Arduino board can control all of them through the uh, can control through them with the help of programming inbuilt inside. Okay, so I was talking about showing you TX and RX. So you can see here it's shown very clearly where is TX and where is RX. Okay, so because of the immense applications present here, I've not shown any application. That's why. Okay, I'm just trying to show you that if there is an application, then this Arduino board will be connected with the Bluetooth module as well as this ESP module, and depending upon depending upon what you want to connect, that will be connected to the Arduino board, and through this Bluetooth module it can be transmitted either to any other Bluetooth device, or it can be transmitted to any other sensor. Okay, and the work will be done. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of applications of this serial communication. The only important thing is that you have to understand where it has to be applied and where it has to be implemented. Okay, so generally we'll see that along with Bluetooth we will be having either along with Arduino board we'll be having either Bluetooth, or we'll be having Arduino board plus Wi-Fi module. Okay, so in this way, many kinds of applications can be done. Okay. So with this, I am winding up today's class. If anyone is having any doubt, you can ask. So this is all about the serial communication protocol. In the coming classes, we will be having one practical where you will observe that serial communication is practically implemented. Okay, and from the next class, all the classes will be practical only, and you will kindly revise it. And if you have any query, you can ask. Okay, and so that from the next class you can understand each and everything properly. So if there is no doubt to anyone, you can write no in the chat box so that I can wind up the session. Thank you, everyone.